Welcome back as we turn our attention to our very first talking point this morning. You heard it there, sort of reassuring words from the NNPCL, but then again, it leaves more questions. So what exactly is the situation? Is it as a result of, adverse weather conditions affecting ship-to-ship transfer of the product? Or is it as a result of an increase in ex-depot price, as is being quoted in other reports? To help us understand this and perhaps reconcile the differing accounts of what is responsible for the scarcity, we have joining us from our Abuja studio, Mr. Billy Gillis-Harry. He's a national president, Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petrol. Mr. Billy Gillis-Harry, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
Indeed, it's good to have you. So what exactly is responsible for this round of scarcity from the perspective of the petroleum marketers? Are you able to access the product based on applications on the NNPCL website, or really this explanation by the NNPC that adverse weather conditions is plausible?
Well, the fact that we did not promptly get petroleum products to our stations does not mean that NNPC was not doing their best to make sure that the retail outlets have products to supply to Nigerians. NNPC has explained exactly what the scenario was yesterday. We also had a side meeting to be able to get more clarification as to what is going on. But the fact that we could not get products on the platform is just because they are doing upgrade on that platform, and from what we understood, that is almost being concluded. So hopefully we should be able to start getting products. But that did not stop NNPC from making alternative arrangements to make sure that we have petroleum products. So as far as we know, the challenges were all supply directed and based, and if yesterday's explanation is adequate, which I believe it is, we should be able to see a very quick response in all the retail outlets, especially with products coming in from River State area to Abuja and so on and so forth. So I think that the matter is being tackled very frontally by NNPC, and we'll get to the end of it. But however, my point is that we should not let this situation keep creeping on us without, any notice. We should be able to have some sort of data to be able to guide us in getting this situation, completely eliminated.
So, Mr. Gillis-Harry, is there anything arising from this current situation that compels an adjustment in price?
Well, that has been a very big surprise to me, because up till 1 a.m. this morning, my members were up with me, and we tried to find out exactly where that information is coming from. And typical of Petrol, we do not just talk about any issue until we have some empirical evidence to guide us. NNPC had not changed their prices to us. We still buy at the price that is given to us from them. However, we must always realize that if we do not get the product directly from NNPC, and we are going to get it from depots that are also struggling to do everything to get products out in the market, the prices will not be the same. But the fact that that became a point for which this level of scarcity, is anticipated, I think is completely wrong.
So let me get this right. For Lagos, for example, you see places, they're selling petrol for 900, nation's capital 800 or more. So are you saying that these are just people hiking their price to take advantage of this situation, or they have a legitimate reason to do that because they're not getting it from the NNPCL, or at least the major marketers?
Yes, that is a very plausible reason why the prices may not be the same across every city or even every area in a particular city. You heard the solutions that were provided. Petrol has always looked at that as a very strong alternative, where we try to make sure that we share our products within ourselves and ensure that there is adequate wetness in as many stations, especially those that are in strategic locations as possible. Because our job actually is to extend all the possible efficiencies to what NNPC is providing to ensure that petroleum product is in every part of this country. Now, if product is being sold at a particular price in any location, what we do, if there are members, we ask them exactly what is the reason for that. So we ask to see what is the data that they have used, the cost pricing and all of that. And sometimes you find out that they are just only making just sales with just maybe about 10 naira, 15 naira, 20 naira. So at that point, you know that they are legitimately having a patriotic mind to serve. Because if there was no product there, last night we got stranded on the road around 12 o'clock, and somebody came up to us to provide a solution of 10 liters at 12,000 naira. That's 1,200. We didn't buy it, of course. We would have, if we had any security agencies close by with us, would have allowed them to arrest that particular, young lady. And it's even a lady who was making that offer to us at that late hour in the night. So it would be much better that you have genuine petroleum products in the station, which have managed to land it at that station to sell. And of course, it's not going to be permanent. For instance, now NNPC is frantically making sure that petroleum product is given to all the retail outlets.
Right.
I'm sure that the prices will revert back as fast as possible.
Let me just quickly rephrase my question. Is it true that the landing cost is 700 plus? Or, in another light, how much are you getting the products, perhaps from where your members are getting? How much are they currently getting it now? So Nigerians understand where this is coming from and they call out who is, doing the wrong thing.
If we have product from NNPC, we should be able to sell our product between 620 and 650. If we source it from other depots that also have to make additional expenses, it is clear to us to understand that we do not expect them to sell us at the price that NNPC is given, because they make additional expenses to land it at that particular depot. And then from the depot again, you have to make additional logistics expenses, which is sometimes never, straightforward, because you see prices fluctuating as to the cost because of distance and all of that. So if a station that has landed product in their station for say 690 or 710 or 700, will certainly make a sale that will be able to guarantee restocking. And this is what is important to know. So it's not like they are taking advantage of it. We try to caution our members very, very strongly. And we are working with all the authorities, NUPENG, PTD, they are all helping us to make sure that we try to reduce the costs, to land the product in the retail outlets. And I'm sure that we should get back to, normal in the next few days.
All right, so let's do a bit of a product price band guide across the region, given the situation we found ourselves. Like I follow up on what Kayode is asking. So what should be the minimum we should be expecting and the maximum depending on the region? Because we've had reports of some parts of the country really screaming and escalating the issue that this is quite unbearable. So we know who is being mischievous or people that are pushing for an overreach.
Well, I've been from time, there's always been a bandwidth, a lower bandwidth and a higher bandwidth to sell. And NMDPRA has been very, very useful in trying to, make sure that is enforced. They have their supervision team that goes out to check everything that we're doing. So everybody knows that it's very important to keep within that bandwidth. But the challenge comes if you have to go and source for products, say from Delta, and you're going to take it to Katsina or to Maiduguri. Obviously, the price is not going to be the same with somebody who is sourcing the same product and ending it in Ore or in Abeokuta. So those are the things that the cost of logistics is getting more complex and more difficult, by the day, because the product which they use to run the vehicle itself, diesel, is very scarce and very expensive, which is why we advocate for the CNG revolution and insist, that government should come up to be able to help us to make sure that our tanker drivers, our tankers are all fitted with CNG facilities at an affordable price. These are things that will all add up to reducing the cost between one region and the other. And don't forget that the equalization, petroleum equalization policy has been done away with PIA coming in and collapsing all of those different agencies. So this will continue to, grow. And of course, NMDPRA understands this, and so they themselves are watching to see what we're doing. We're actually providing service that's also helping to make sure that these prices are monitored and carefully put together. That's the mantra of Petrol. We try to make sure that we sell clean fuel, try to make sure that our prices are not taking advantage of Nigerians.
Just a follow-up. So what can we do as a country to minimize this reoccurrence, whether it's by weather or by whatever factor is necessary, is responsible for this? Maybe we can be having situations like this maximum once a year, because we're already dealing with the issue of the power grid that has collapsed a couple of times and will still collapse because the things that make it collapse have not been resolved.
Well, I think Nigeria should, hurry up to find solutions instead of complaining for anything that is required to be done. For us in Petron, we have advocated for our refineries to be given prior attention and local refining capacity improved on. Now, even the refineries that are ongoing round, for instance, Dangote Refinery, is already complaining of non-availability of crude oil to refine. We want to encourage the government and the NNPC that's actually partnered even in the Dangote project to ensure that crude oil is made available and made available at a very, very extraordinary price. In fact, we do advocate that our domestic crude consumption should be sold in Nigerian naira to the refineries. Other than that, we have also recommended that a very efficient stakeholder work council on petroleum product availability should be instated. That should include MEMAN, DAPMAN, Petron, IPMAN, NUPENG, and such other associations like NOGASA. Because at the end of the day, what we need is data, is evidence of information that should guide us as to what we have, what is going to happen, and then ensure that we mitigate that difficulty ahead of time. In addition to that, we should have a national emergency storage capacity of at least 60 million liters to ensure that regardless of what happens, there will be fuel for a minimum of 15 days so that we cannot get into this kind of situation at all times. Because when we are talking about ship-to-ship transshipment, that's because it's happening in the high seas. And weather conditions are very difficult to be able to steady these vessels, from what we are told. So those are the kind of solutions we would like to see in Petron that should apply to Nigeria to mitigate this type of reoccurrence at all times.
Mr. Gelisari, permit me to belabor the point because an NBS report from just a few days ago is quoting the pump price of petrol in Jigawa State to be as high as 937 naira per litre. That's pushing the 1,000 mark. And in other parts of the Northwest, the price of petrol is 845 naira per litre. And even, just a bit further down the Southwest, petrol price is above 700 naira per litre. So from the standpoint of a retailer, what is the most realistic price, pump price of petrol, in spite of the transportation implications on moving petrol to these states? What is the most realistic price, particularly also because there really isn't any effective mechanism for monitoring of price and to ensure compliance of those who are selling above what is the most realistic price?
Well, there are quite a number of things that can be done to work that out. And this is where the patriotic zeal and patriotic content of all Nigerians should apply. For instance, Nupeng is, I believe, doing quite a lot to rein in their drivers and do as much as possible. We can also depend on them to insist that prices of logistics should be somehow standardized and be able to give reprieve to us retailers to provide services to Nigerians. Be that as it may, I will expect that the highest price in petroleum, for instance, in the areas where the depots operate, Lagos, Delta, Calabar, River State, should be anything between 620 to 680 maximum. And then when you add all the transportation issues that should take it from state to state, we can just look at how incremental additions can come in that should make us not to be selling at 1,000 naira. Because as you know, if we are actually importing product in the way that the deregulation is setting for us to be able to import, which we desire to do, but we are hamstrung by availability of foreign exchange to make that endeavor work for us, even though we do not want to make Nigeria an import-centered, a market-centered place only for importation of PMS, but we need PMS to be able to work until our refineries are producing internally. So I do think, that this situation can be resolved with all of us coming together to make the best out of everything. We need to make money, but we need to be happy too. And I think that's what Nigerians should begin to focus on.
Speaking of what to expect, we're in July already, and all eyes are on Dangote Refinery for the release of petroleum products into the economy. So what are the assurances from where you stand that when Dangote begins to sell petrol, prices will come down? Are there any guarantees in that regard?
Well, the reality is that if I was the chairman of Dangote, I will not be announcing when my PMS will hit the market. I'd rather work very closely with the authorities like NMDPRA and the marketers to make sure that when the petroleum product comes, it hits the market quietly with a lot of noise, because sometimes noise is more louder. Quietness is more louder than talk. The fact that we have been given several dates, to expect product, for me is a concern. Then also the method of doing business, I think should be much more inclusive, so that way there's adequate input from all the stakeholders to make sure that pricing is done adequately. Yeah, we know that it's a private business, but also the public has bought shares into it through an NPC. So there's also the need for us to be able to discuss very, very clearly and transparently about how prices should be fixed, because we want to be careful to make sure that a big machine like Dangote Refinery, that I'm very proud of, I believe that Nigeria should be proud of and Africa should be proud of, should be the reason why we should smile more at home and in our businesses with the prices of all the products coming down. But how do you guarantee that when already there's a complaint that crude oil is not being supplied to them and they're importing crude oil from America? And what quality of product are they even bringing from America? Because America is importing to their own country our Bonnet Lights. So are they going to import Bonnet Light to America and then ship it back again to Dangote to refine? So those are some of the things that need to make sure that the prices come down. I think are also based on the political will and the business decisions of our government and policy implementation strategies. Crude oil, yes, should be produced for domestic consumption. And I don't think OPEC should control that. This is where I think that emergency production of crude oil declared by the NNPC should be held accountable, too. And then Dangote should just focus on their refining. They should allow us, the retailers, to do our retailing, and then they can sell their product also through the depots. This will guarantee stability and inclusion of business from every side. So that way, we can at least maintain some, ecosystem that will guarantee the pricing. But as far as sitting down here in this studio to project what the price of Dangote's PMS will be, I'm completely unable to do that because we have not had any clear, business council and stakeholder meeting with them to be able to make inputs as to how we can advise on how that works.
So I think I see or I hear some, will I call it hurdles to be crossed, perhaps possible bottlenecks, some gray areas that need to be cleared out. Because understandably, this sector is quite huge, different players. And if one sector is not performing, it can affect others just like a ripple effect. So I get a sense that you're saying other practitioners or other players like retail owners, the depot owners, even the marketers of the rest need to be brought on board should Dangote release the products to the market for efficiency. Some others will say, well, we've not seen efficiency for a few decades in Nigeria, so we can't continue to do the same things and expect a different result. So maybe there should be a rethinking of the model that we have already. But I do hope that this will not be a major war that will now descend into something that we don't want to see. But I'd like you to speak to a point now. So there's a lot of anger out there, understandably, because as I said earlier on, we don't deserve this situation, having scarcity, understanding what we have, what God has blessed us with. So are you saying that what we're saying, nobody should be, will I say, reprimanded, there should be no consequence for what we're saying, that this is just, I don't know, what was meant to happen and we should just take it? Isn't there somebody or some organization complicit in this fuel scarcity such that we fix it and we don't see it again?
Well, true, very true, my dear brother. A lot of hardship and so much anger and so much disappointment in the country. But I personally, from the depth of my heart, appeal to Nigerians to give peace a chance. Also, keep working for solutions, and give the government and even the NNPC the opportunity to up their game and ensure that what needs to be done is done. As far as doing business as usual, I don't think that is the correct thing. If there are no consequences, then there will be no discipline. So there must be some kind of consequence to be faced by any corporate who is not doing their job properly, whether it's at the supply level or at the distribution level. That's why we are calling on all of us to be patriotic. NUPEG should do a very great job in calling in their drivers to be able to work very efficiently with us. Look at how the pricing from one location to the other can be able to be reduced. Petrol members should be able to keep to the faith.
Pardon me, Mr. Gillis-Harry.
They deliver product properly.
Right, yes. So let's identify this. Is it from the retailers? Is it from the transporters? Is it from the marketers? Is it the depot owners? Is it the NNPCL? Or is it the authority or the department which or who should we be paying attention to? And this is by no means trying to indict anyone. If something is not done right, we speak to it. I mean, that's what we should stand for as a people. That's on the one hand. On the second hand is follow-up to the previous question, which is, it has been said that some marketers fear that when Dangote come into the market, it will drop the price. So they're a bit reluctant to import products at a higher price. And it comes and nobody's buying their product. So that's what's also said to be responsible for this round of scarcity. So, two-edged question there.
No, wrong projection. I don't agree with that. Because there is no importation of product that will not be done with a business feasibility. So you cannot just be afraid, that Dangote's petrol will come up. And of course, if Dangote's petrol comes up, if it meets competition in the market, it should reduce. It should work. That price that should make the business to be much more competitive. So I don't think that is correct. I rather will think that importers of petroleum products, and in this time, PMS is only strictly imported by NNPC. So for me, at any time there is this kind of scarcity issue, I think NNPC should be encouraged to do much more and do better. And I mean, from what I saw yesterday, I can see the very frantic efforts that have been made even prior to the scarcity. But my advice was, look, when situations like this come up, please call your stakeholders. That is what IPMAN is all about. That's what Petrol is all about. That's what MEMAN is all about. That's what DAPMAN is all about. We should be able to put our best foot forward to make sure that we, mitigate this difficulty. So if there is anybody to be blamed, I think it should be a blame from the source of the product and not from any of us, because retailers can only sell what we are given. We do not import, we do not refine. So we are hoping right now, we are all registering frantically with all the refineries to make sure that we are off-takers in the refineries, even as retail outlet owners. So there is everything being done by us to make sure that service provision is never disrupted, efficiency in delivery of petroleum product is top, is top at this game, and we are ready to make that service provision available to Nigerians.
All right, Mr. Aguilar.
So in reality, you cannot hold the retailers responsible.
Just before you go, as a wind down, just for you to speak to this issue of energy security. I know Melekere, the GCEO of NNPCL, has always talked about energy security, but we're shifting dates with the Dangote Refinery and the shifting dates with all other refineries. What do you see, and when do you see this happening as far as Nigeria is concerned? Because Nigerians, as far as we're concerned, is when we see products leave refineries to us, the consumers, that's when we believe anything is done.
Well, exactly what I just said earlier, that we should, reduce the size of the noise and up the game in performance. When the refineries are performing and producing refined petroleum product, Nigerians should see. That silence will even much more louder because it will be followed by an action. I will not encourage any one person coming up anymore to say, oh, we are expecting petrol to come out of our refinery at so time, and then don't keep to the date. Because one, is technology-based and there's quite a lot of work to be done. And if we keep shifting the dates, then we are also presenting ourselves, to lack the integrity that should follow up with this guaranteed source of energy that we need. So as far as Petrol is concerned, we will keep asking that the refineries be given maximum attention to be made to be productive in the country. And we should also do as much as possible to make sure that petroleum product distribution is not in any way disrupted. And that's why, in the preliminary times, we have said that Dangote Refinery should be based, they should be refining for us. They should not be involved in coming to do the distribution along or to do retailing with us. We need to keep our business. We need to train our children. We need to make sure that Nigerians are working. So let all of us do our own part and ensure that we keep Nigeria secured, in the provision of energy. Of course, today, PMS is a critical factor in generating energy in this country. So we need to really pay attention to that and make sure that we deliver on it efficiently in such a way that our economy continues to grow.
A fine way to anchor it, Mr. Gillis-Harry. Everyone does their part. And, we started this show by asking each other, who we could call on if we had few concerns. And I believe we can call on you after this segment, to sort out our few concerns. That's on a lighter note anyway. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Billy Gillis-Harry, who is the National President, Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petrol, who joined us from our Abuja studios. Thank you very much, sir, for your time on the program.
Thank you so very much.
So after this time out, we'll switch gears to another aspect of the economy just as critical, the aviation sector. Join us for this segment. We'll be right back.